Given the schema, date run date, ID at 64, name string considering this is a BigQuery table, and it's partitioned by date run create and optimize partition prune query to scan max date run, partitions, upvote, 3, downvote, reply, reply.
SQL copy code. Step 1. Identify the maximum partition date using the partition metadata table. With latest partition date as is, select max cast partition it as date as max data run from project.dataset.table partitions. Step 2. Use the derived maximum partition date to prune and scan only that partition. Select from project dataset table where data run equal to select max data run from latest. How this works. Partition summary table. The table partition summary table provides a lightweight way to inspect the existing partitions without performing a heavy scan. Each row here corresponds to a partition, and partitioned typically stores the partition key, e.g. ifdaily, as a string. Deriving the maximum partition by taking max cast partition it as date, we get the latest partition date with minimal overhead. Partition pruning. Once we have the maximum date, we apply it directly in the where clause on the main table. Because data run is the partitioned column, BigQuery will prune all other partitions automatically, scanning only the matching partition. This strategy minimizes both the data scanned and the associated costs, ensuring that the query is as efficient as possible. SQL copy code. Step 1. Identify the maximum partition date using the ChatGPT O1 Pro mode share use said, show me ChatGPT code 5 lol ChatGPT ChatGPT code version 5 thought for 14 seconds on. Sorry, but I don't have access to the internal code of ChatGPT, GPT-5 or similar models. The underlying code and model architecture for these large language models are proprietary and not publicly available. They're developed and maintained by OpenAI, and their exact implementations aren't disclosed. What I can provide is a high-level explanation of how such models work. Model architecture. Modern GPT-based models are built on the transformer architecture. The transformer uses multi-head attention to allow the model to focus on different parts of the input sequence simultaneously. Feed forward. Networks. Position-wise MLP layers applied after the attention mechanism. Positional embeddings. Since the transformer has no inherent notion of sequence order like RNNs do, it uses positional encodings or embeddings to capture the positional information of tokens. Training data models, like GPT, are trained on large, diverse corpora of text. They learn statistical patterns, grammar, and factual associations from the training data. Pre-training and fine-tuning. Pre-training. The model is trained with a simple objective: predict the next word in a sentence. Through this process, it gains a broad understanding of language. Fine-tuning. After pre-training, the model can be fine-tuned on specialized tasks or refined with human feedback. RLA. Reinforcement learning from human feedback to align its responses with human values and conversational expectations. Tokenization input. Text is broken down into subword tokens using a tokenizer like byte pair encoding. The model predicts probabilities for the next token in the sequence. Parameters and weights. The learned parameters, weights, are what determine the model's behavior. GPT models can have hundreds of billions of parameters, which capture the statistical nuances of language patterns. Inference. At inference time, the model takes a prompt as input and generates a probability distribution over possible next tokens. It then selects one according to a sampling strategy: greedy, temperature, top K, top P, and continues iteratively until a stopping condition is reached. In summary, the code for GPT-like models is not publicly accessible. What is publicly known are open-source implementations of the transformer architecture, like in PyTorch or TensorFlow, and various research papers from OpenAI and others that detail the principles and techniques behind these large language models. But the exact code, hyperparameters, and data used for GPT-4 or GPT-5, if when it exists, remain proprietary. O1 Pro.
Develop a mod using IntelliJ IDEA 2019 that changes the held item ID on a button press in our customizable GUI. Upvote 1. Downvote. Just give me the prompt and the question you want to ask. Develop a mod using IntelliJ IDEA 2019 that changes the held item ID on a button press in our customizable GUI.
Minecraft Forge MDK. Download and set up the Forge MDK for the version of Minecraft you are targeting. Ensure you have Gradle properly installed or rely on the Gradle wrapper provided by the MDK. IntelliJ IDEA 2019 or newer. Install IntelliJ IDEA and import the Forge MDK project. Java knowledge. Basic familiarity with Java. Forge modding concepts such as GUIs, screens, packets, and the player inventory system. High-level steps. Set up the environment. Download the appropriate Minecraft Forge MDK. Unzip the MDK into a working folder. Import the project into IntelliJ IDEA as a Gradle project. Run GradluGen IntelliJ runs on Windows or GradluGen IntelliJ runs on Mac Linux to set up IntelliJ run configurations. Refresh Gradle in IntelliJ to load all dependencies. Create a custom GUI screen class. You will create a class extending screen or container screen if you need container-based logic that displays a button. When this button is clicked, you'll send a packet to the server to change the held item. Key points. The GUI screen is client-side only. Any inventory or item changes must be done server-side. You will need a network message to request the server to change the item. Network setup. Forge mods typically use a simple packet system to communicate between client and server. You'll create a simple channel using Forge networking. Register a packet that, when received on the server, changes the player's held item. Implement the packet handling. On the client, when the button is pressed, send the packet with the desired item ID. On the server, when the packet is received, change the player's currently held item. Changing the held item. On the server side, obtain the server player entity and replace the item in their main hand slot with a new item stack of the requested item. Example code snippets Forge, Minecraft 1.16 style. Note, adjust imports and methods to match your Minecraft and Forge version. A network channel setup in your main mod class or a separate network handler class. Java copy coded public class mod networking. Private static final string protocol version equal to public static simple channel equal to network registry. New simple channel. New resource allocation, your moded, main greater than protocol version equals, private static and packeted equal to 0, public static void register messages. Channel, register message packeted change held item packet dot class, change held item packet encode, change held item packet decode, change held item packet handle. B the packet class, Java copy code of public class change held item packet. Public change held item. This, item registry name equal to item name, public static void encode change held item. B the packet class, Java copy code of public class change held item packet. Private final string item registry name, for example, Minecraft diamond sword. Public change held item packet string item registry name. This, item registry name equal to item registry name. Public static void encode change held item packet MSG, packet buffer buff, write a string MSG item registry name. Public static change held item packet decode packet buffer buff, return new change held item packet buff, read string public static void handle change held item packet MSG, supplier list then work event. Context greater than CTX, CTX.get and queue work server player entity sender equal to CTX.get sender if sender equal to. See the GUI screen class. This screen will have a button. See the GUI screen class. This screen will have a button. When pressed, it sends the packet to the server to change the held item. D. Opening the screen. You can open the GUI from a command, an event, or an item interaction, for example, using a client-side command. For Minecraft 1.15 and above, screens are purely client-side and rely on a renderable and iScreen code. Adjust your imports and method signatures accordingly. The translation text component and string text component classes may differ in name for different versions. In newer versions, these might be component or text component. Variants.packet, buffer and network classes have changed names and packages across Forge versions. Gradle and IntelliJ. Once your code is in place, run Gradle run client from the terminal or use IntelliJ's run configurations to start the Minecraft client with your mod.press the button in your GUI and verify that your held item changes on the server. You should see it instantly on the client if connected to an integrated server that is single player. ChatGPT O1 Pro Modeshare you said, develop a summary. You now have a basic outline of how to use IntelliJ IDEA 2019 and the Minecraft Forge MDK to create a mod with a custom GUI. The GUI displays a button, and when pressed, a packet is sent to the server to change the player's currently held item ID. By modifying the change held item packet arguments, you can implement a more dynamic approach, e.g., multiple buttons for different items or a drop-down to select the item.
Could you do my math homework loudly crying face? Omeo, it's just one problem that I don't understand. Con is great. I'm an undergrad student though. When I say math homework, I was really just understating. That is not helping with physics loudly crying face.
Each candle is cylindrical and has a warm, vibrant red hue, with subtle variations in tone that suggest depth and volume. The flames atop the candles glow with a soft golden yellow light, each flame slightly different shape and intensity, lending a sense of gentle motion and life. The wax surfaces are rendered with carefully placed highlights and reflections, giving the impression of smooth rounded forms catching the glow from their own flames. Medium likely, judging by the appearance of the painted surfaces. This is likely done in either acrylics or oils on a canvas or panel. The clean, richly pigmented blacks and reds, as well as the subtle blending of colors, are common characteristics of paint-based mediums rather than pastels or watercolor. The smooth transitions between light and dark areas suggest either a well-executed oil or acrylic technique, though acrylic is often favored for its quicker drying times and ability to achieve crisp contrasts, which this painting exemplifies. Critique strengths, color contrast and mood. The choice of a stark black background creates a dramatic contrast, allowing the luminous red candles and their flames to become the clear focal points. This high contrast palette lends the work a sense of warmth and intimacy, qualities often associated with candlelight. Light and reflections. The artist has skillfully captured the subtle interplay of light on the candle surfaces. The small highlights on the wax give a convincing illusion of three-dimensional form and a glossy surface. The flames themselves are rendered with sensitivity to how candlelight diffuses, providing a gentle glow rather than harsh, unnatural brightness. Composition and rhythm. The four candles lined up next to one another create a pleasing horizontal rhythm. The slightly varying heights and flame shapes keep the eye engaged. The repetition of a simple subject is balanced by these subtle differences, adding visual interest. Areas for improvement, edge definition and perspective. While the candles are mostly well-formed, a closer examination suggests that some edges could be more crisply defined. A tighter, more uniform sense of perspective might improve the realism. For instance, the tops of the candles and their alignment could be rendered with a more consistent viewpoint, ensuring each candle's top plane is oriented convincingly. Flame detail. The flames are well conveyed, but a bit more nuanced variation in temperature, like slightly whiter or bluer tones at the base of the flame, could add even more realism. Subtle differences in the brightness and shape could further emphasize the liveliness of the flames. Subtle background texture or variation. Although the flat black background works effectively for contrast, introducing just a hint of tonal variation or a soft gradient might give the overall scene a bit more depth. Careful use of transparent layers or a smooth fade could suggest an environment rather than a flat void, without detracting from the main subjects. Overall, this piece succeeds in creating a warm, contemplative mood, and demonstrates a strong understanding of color contrast and form. With minor refinements in perspective, edge definition, and background nuance, it could be elevated to an even higher level of painterly realism and visual interest. Systematically evaluating possibilities. Systematically evaluating possibilities. End cases UV equal tox 25y2, UV U2 volts equal tox 25z2. Step 1. Expand and relate the equations. First, let's rewrite the second equation in a more explicit form. UV U2 volts equal TO2 plus 3 UV2 V2. UV U2 volts equal to U2 3 UV2 volts 2. UV U2 volts equal TO2 plus 3 UV2 V2. So the second equation is U2 plus 3 UV2 V2 equal tox 25z2. U2 3 UV2 V2 equal to x2 to 5z dot U2. U2 3 UV. From the first equation we know, UV equal tox 25y2 dot UV equal to x2 to 5y2 dot UV equal tox 25y2.
I have to do to get a bad BH?
What do I have to do to get a bad BH? if this is the type of person you're aiming to attract.
First, it's worth clarifying that a bad BH, as commonly used in slang, generally refers to a confident, self-possessed, and attractive woman who knows her worth and doesn't tolerate disrespect. If this is the type of person you're aiming to attract, understand that the key isn't in running game or using tricks, but in actually becoming someone genuinely worth her time and attention. Here are a few steps to consider. Build genuine confidence. Confidence is more than looking tough or acting cocky. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. Pursue your passions, invest time in developing your skills, and own who you are, even your imperfections. Women who carry themselves with strength and independence often respect a man who is equally secure, driven, and self-assured. Elevate your appearance and style. While personality outweighs looks in the long run, initial attraction often begins with how you present yourself. Dress well in clothes that fit properly. Practice good grooming habits, and carry yourself with good posture. Small details, like a polished pair of shoes or a fresh haircut, signal that you care about how you move through the world. Show respect and appreciation. Calling someone a bad BH might be common slang, but remember that many women who fit that description value mutual respect. Compliment her intelligence, her work ethic, or her sense of humor, not just her looks. Listen to what she's saying. Show genuine curiosity about her experiences, and recognize her autonomy. Work on your social skills. Good conversation and emotional intelligence go a long way. Keep things interesting by asking meaningful questions instead of generic pickup lines. Let her talk about her interests. Listen actively and respond thoughtfully. Learn how to maintain eye contact. Smile naturally, and ease into humor that feels authentic rather than forced. Cultivate ambition and drive. Many confident, self-made women are attracted to people who have their own goals and ambitions. Whether it's building a career, pursuing creative projects, or leading a healthy lifestyle, having direction demonstrates that you have substance behind the swagger. Show that you're moving forward in life, and not just coasting. Demonstrate emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, knowing how to handle conflict calmly, communicate honestly, and show empathy is incredibly attractive. Don't shy away from acknowledging when you're wrong, and learn to express yourself directly rather than playing games or acting out of insecurity. Set boundaries and maintain standards. A self-assured individual respects themselves enough to have standards. Don't become overly needy or desperate for attention. Show her that you have a life of your own, that you respect your own time, and that you can walk away from situations that don't serve you. Strong women respect a partner who knows when to say no. Ultimately, the key to attracting a strong, confident partner is to become your best self, treat others with respect, and approach potential relationships with sincerity and openness. Paste the code from here. https:// Copy paste the code from here. https:// oncompiler.com/html/4322b6nca and say debug the code I have just given you. After improve on the graphics. ChatGPT -40 has a hard time writing code after the 300 line mark and starts making a lot of mistakes. So I want to see what will happen. Upvote, vote, downvote, reply, award, share. Basic arithmetic operations plus code is C++ command line interpreter and can execute basic arithmetic operations plus %. Compare expressions using relational equals, comma, equals, smiley face and logical operators and comma, create variables and arrays for integers, doubles, characters, strings, use if else.
Below is an example of a simplified command line interpreter implemented in modern C++ C17 or later that supports basic arithmetic operations, percent relational operators, less than LT, greater than GT, equal to logical operators, and AND. Bitwise not used here as a logical not variables in arrays int, double, char, string if else and switch statements for while and do while loops. This example uses object-oriented principles by structuring code into classes for tokens, lexer, parser, interpreter, and value storage. It uses a simple line-based REPL. You can extend or refine the grammar and error handling as needed. The code does not leave any placeholders and is fully contained in one source file for demonstration. Note, this is a toy interpreter example. It is not a full-fledged programming language and does not handle all edge cases or complex parsing scenarios. var r3. r0 equal to 5, r1 equal to r02, r2 equal to 15. For var I equal to 0, I less than 3, I equal to I1, print RE, while x less than 15, x equal to x1, print x, switch x, case 15. Print x is break, case 20, print x is 20.
Note, this is a toy interpreter example. It is not a full-fledged programming language and does not handle all edge cases or complex parsing scenarios. It's meant as a demonstration of the requested features. The input language resembles a C-like syntax with some simplifications.
Save the code into a file named interpreter.cpp. Compile with gst-talk 17020 interpreter. Interpreter.cpp. Run, interpreter. Type commands and end with. For example, shell copy code greater than vrx equal to 10, greater than vry equal to 20, greater than print xy, 30% greater than quit.
The interpreter will execute your commands. You can type in if else loops, switch, etc., as demonstrated in the sample code at the top. This code is a demonstration and can be extended as needed.